Have you ever looked at your Garmin Striker 4 and saw the option for split frequency and thought to yourself, why in the world would I even use that and turn it on? Well, I'm gonna make that stupid simple for you. I'm Daren with Wendell Fishing. Let's hop in. Getting to it's really easy. On the main page, most people would hit the traditional and head in here. However, if you go down 2, you'll get the split frequency. And so essentially what split frequency is, it basically lets you see 2 sonar frequencies side by side on one screen. So think of it like getting 2 sets of eyes under your vessel at the same time. You get a wide lens and a zoom lens. And this is really helpful for finding the bottom hardness and tracking fish versus structure, and watching bait versus bigger returns, and confirming that a mark is actually really a fish. Now what you'll notice, if you head into the menu button, which is this hamburger button right here, which you click on that and head down to frequency, this is going to give you a couple options. Go ahead and select left. It's going to give you the option between 200 kilohertz and CHIRP 200 kilohertz. And of course, you're wondering what is the difference there. And the biggest difference is that the 200 kilohertz, the non-CHIRP, fires one frequency down, and then it hits whatever it hits and returns, and that's what paints that picture on your screen. CHIRP, however, fires a sweep of frequencies at once. So when those multiple returns come back, you're going to have better target separation, that crunchier detail, and fish arches that stand out more. So use CHIRP 200 kilohertz whenever you want clarity and separation. So now let's talk about the difference between 77 kilohertz and 200 kilohertz. I would just keep these both on CHIRP, but what you're getting with the 77 kilohertz here is you're getting a wider cone, right? I think it's around 45-degree cone. And so it's better for finding schools and bait, but it's going to be less detail. When you go over here and you select the 200 kilohertz CHIRP, this is going to be a much narrower cone, right? I believe it's even between 15 and 19 degrees. Much different than the 45 degrees cone angle on the 77 kilohertz. So this is why split frequency is really great. That 200 kilohertz is going to give you that tight cone and better detail, and it's really great for tracking on brush piles, and it's something you want to have that better detail on. But if you're just searching, you're going to want the 77. And so typically what I'll do for these is I'll run the left side on 200 and the right side on 77 CHIRP on both sides. So now you're just seeing over here, you're getting a 45-degree angle cone. So you're going to be picking stuff up on this screen that you're not going to be picking up on this screen, because this only has like a 15 to 19-degree angle cone, and it's showing everything inside of that cone. So 77 on one, 200 on the other, CHIRP. That way you both see the big picture and the detailed picture. So now let's go into the settings. There's a lot of other options in here. You have the range settings up here. Of course, it gives you auto or manual. And to be honest with you, I never change this off of auto, right? And so it's great 95% of the time, and it sets the depth for you. So I wouldn't mess around with this too much, to be completely honest with you. Then you're gonna have gain settings, right? So these are gonna allow you to do auto low, auto medium, auto high. And so if you're not familiar with really what gain is how strong your sonar signal is, right? It's a filter. Too low, you might miss fish. Too high, your screen will look like a snowstorm, right? So really quick setup on these. I like to start at auto high, right? And then drop to auto medium if it looks messy. And I only go manual if you're really dialed in and trying to see tiny presentations or those suspended fish. So let's hop back out. Next, you're gonna have zoom. And so it's going to give you some options here: no zoom, bottom lock, manual, and auto. And so bottom lock, this is going to let you really keep the bottom fixed at a depth band, right? It's really great for like jigging. Then you have manual. It's going to let you zoom in, zoom out. As you see that, you can do the depth here as well. This is really going to help just magnify a section of the water column. So why would you use any of these, right? A lot of guys and girls will go out there and they'll use zoom on bottom lock. They're doing this because they're trying to get it really zoomed in detail. They don't want to waste their screen with like 15 feet of just empty water. And so it's going to allow them to use the most of the screen to be able to get that zoomed in area on the bottom, where a lot of times those bottom hugging fish are. And so to be able to see that zoomed in, it's going to help you see that, hey, that isn't the bottom, it's actually a fish hugging the bottom, and that bottom lock is going to help you to do that. Then you have some other options down here with sonar setup. You're going to have some appearance settings. This is going to allow you to do color schemes, to be completely honest with you. I just like to keep it blue. Next up, you have A-scope. So this is a setting that I actually love. A-scope is actually a short for amplitude scope, right? It is your real-time sonar strip on the right side of the screen right here. And it tells you what's happening right now. So everything over here if you're new to sonar, this is what happened in history, right? A few seconds ago. So if it paints an arch, it paints a fish, that happens, it's now behind you. This over here, this is actually what's happening in real time. So think of it if you're ice fishing, this is like a flasher that's typically like a circle. However, it's represented as a vertical bar on the right side of your screen so you can see exactly what's happening right now. Once you turn this on, most of the time you'll never go back, so I love it. Next up, we are going to have on some more settings. Let's head in here, split frequency, go to settings, and sonar setup, appearance, and let's head down to fish symbols. So this one's interesting. So you're going to get a variety of options here, right? You're going to get the option of just to show a fish at depth, show a fish with the sonar information and the arches stuff in the background, or show everything, right? You want to see the fish symbol, you want to see the depth, which is that, and you also want to see the sonar behind it. So since that one's the most comprehensive, let's go ahead and check that one and head back here and see what it looks like. And there it is. Boom. So if you notice, there's going to be larger fish symbols, there's going to be medium size and small ones, and it's going to show you the depth. It's going to show you also the sonar behind it. But I will be completely honest with you, I would use the arches, right? Not the cartoon fish. So icons lie, arches tell the truth. But if you're brand new or fishing with like kids, right? Icons are fine short term until you get the confidence. However, not entirely as reliable as your brain interpretation, because who knows? It's just using a program to tell you what the program thinks is a fish. However, you know, it might be a leaf down there. And so use it as training wheels to get to just being able to interpret the 2D sonar by yourself. So at the end of the day, guys, for 90% of boat fishing, right, I would put the left panel at 200 kilohertz chirp, the right panel at 77 kilohertz chirp, right? So remember, narrow cone, wide cone. And then I would keep the A-scope on. Gain at auto high or just below, or like that clutter. Range on auto, zoom on off, unless you're like specifically looking for those bottom hugging fish. And this setup's going to give you a big picture. It's going to give you fine detail. It's going to give you that real-time sonar bar and that maximum clarity. So if you start using these features, you're going to be ahead of 90% of anglers out there. Most just use their fish finders in their Garmin Striker 4 to tell them how fast they are going and the depth of the water. This thing can be an absolute beast in getting you on fish and getting you on them faster. Now, if you're new to sonar and you're looking at that screen like, I don't know what's a fish or what's cover or structure or anything, well, I got you. This is a video that's going to help you interpret what you're seeing on the screen, and you can check it out right there. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.